I think that what I would most like to be able to provide the patients I visit is hope. When Molly was in the hospital, that was the one thing that we were always looking for, and it was the one thing that we could hold on to when things seemed so dire and hopeless. My daughter suffered a traumatic amputation. In 2006, at her prom, she was getting into a limo and the driver pulled away while she was getting in. Her foot got caught and she got run over and dragged. And as a result of that, she lost half her pelvis. She redefined the word toughness to me. She exhibited a determination and a will to move on with her life.
Tension around, go. Good, Molly, tension around, go.
The attitude that she brought to it was essentially, this has happened. What am I going to do next? The amount of community support that we received was beyond imagination. And this was a way to give back something in some sort of time, kindness, or effort that we received. I'm really glad to hear that everything went well. The mission of the Limb Preservation Foundation is to assist patients facing limb-threatening conditions as a result of tumor, trauma, or infection. And it is done through financial assistance, funding of research, and education. I asked if I could volunteer in more of an active capacity and became part of the patient care program. I was also asked to serve on the patient assistance committee. The financial assistance component is key to what we do. We will give over $130,000 to patients who need it. We visit them with hospital gift bags, things to make their stay in the hospital a little more pleasant, to let them know that they aren't alone in this process and that there are other people who have experienced things that are very similar to what they're going through right now. Limb Preservation offered to continue awarding grants in Molly's name. The Bloom Again Fund provides people with adaptive equipment, opportunities to participate in sports, to assist their recovery through activity. I know in Molly's recovery, that was huge. She has thrived, not as a result of this, but in spite of all this. I think that when they hear this story, they have some hope for themselves. And then I feel as though I've done what I set out to do.
It was actually November 10th or 11th, I believe. It was a Friday. And it was 2017. I just started my career as a 5th grade teacher. I had, on a whim, asked my coworker to go out to lunch with me. When we were coming back, I stepped out of the car and my knee buckled and it started swelling and it really hurt. And so I went to urgent care after work and they did an x-ray, everything looked good, but she ordered an MRI. And then that's when they found the tumor. They thought it was a giant cell tumor though, which is non-cancerous, not a big deal. So we scheduled a surgery, but when I woke up, he told me it's not a giant cell tumor, it's cancer. It was a stage 2 Ewing sarcoma. And so I had to do 17 rounds of chemo and then a surgery to remove the affected part of the bone and replace it with a metal prosthesis. Honestly, the hardest part was when my surgeon told me I wouldn't be able to work through my treatment, because teaching is such a part of who I am. It's what I've wanted to do my entire life, and I, finally landed the dream job, and to have that yanked from me so quickly by my own body trying to essentially kill me was awful. That was probably the hardest moment. Long time no see.
How's it feeling?
Good.
Good.
The Limb Preservation Foundation has helped me with financials, figuring out those first 3 months of treatment. I didn't qualify for long-term disability because I hadn't been working long enough. I have a car to pay, I have car insurance, I was paying rent, my phone bill, and so trying to figure out all that is overwhelming.
It is healed.
Finding out you're not alone and that there is a whole community of people behind you, supporting you, rooting for you, donating money, donating time is just phenomenal. I'm so much stronger than I ever thought I could be. You don't truly know what kind of courage and bravery you have inside of you until you're faced with something. My really didn't have a choice unless I wanted to not survive, and not surviving was not an option.
When I was first diagnosed, I remember just thinking if I could just have 10 years. And here I am at 10 years. And now I want another 10 years. So, I mean, I just hope I can keep going. And I know if I can just keep going, there's gonna be a treatment for me. I had had hip surgery, and I was at a follow-up appointment with my hip surgeon when my mom looked at me sitting on the exam table and noticed one of my legs sat higher than the other. When the doctor came in, she pointed it out to him, and we found a lump on the back of my thigh. That doctor ordered an MRI right away and called me the next day and said that he thought that I had bone cancer. I did 15 months of chemotherapy. I had a surgery after 5 months to take the tumor out. They did a surgery where they put an allograft donor bone in my leg that was held in place with plates and screws. I had to follow that up with 10 more months of a different kind of chemotherapy. I was able to make it 4 years without a recurrence. At about the 4-year mark, I had a recurrence in one lung that resulted in me having to have a lobectomy. And then I made it 3 years when it went to another lung. Then I made it 2 years and it went to an adrenal gland. And now I'm at my 1-year mark. The work that the Limb Preservation Foundation is doing now is keeping people like me alive. The research component of it is what's impacted me the most and what's kept me here for 10 years. There was a collaboration between Dr. Withrow and Dr. Wilkins and the Flint Animal Cancer Center and the Limb Preservation Foundation to make discoveries at treating patients and having better outcomes. The work of comparative oncology is really what has kept me here, with the work that they've done with animal cancer research and human cancer research. The treatment that I got with my chemotherapy was something that they used on the dogs, and because the dogs live a faster life, they were able to predict outcomes and know what worked, and that helped save my life. Also, the work that they've done with the allograft and operating to save dogs' legs is what's helped me save my leg. Being able to save my leg, it was a real life changer for me. I was a single mom with small kids, and facing the cancer diagnosis and facing the months of treatment was very hard. But I'm so fortunate that that existed. Together, these people became my cancer family. And while this is never a family that you want to have, I landed in a really great place and had a great organization help me get through my experience. I feel like if I can have the gift of time, there's more coming down the pipeline that will be available to treat people like me, and that maybe I'll have a chance to win this battle.